A boy found a broken robot in a landfill and thought it was just a toy. However, after fixing him, he realized that the robot possesses incredible abilities. In the world of the future, traditional boxing matches lost and their relevance and spectators' interest due to a lack of violence. They have been replaced by gladiator fights featuring human-controlled robots. Charlie Kenton is a former professional boxer who travels across the country and takes part in robot boxing, but suffers one defeat after the other. One time after a busy night, Charlie wakes up in his van surrounded by empty beer bottles. He gets a call from a man who asks him about his $30,000 debt. Charlie calls the man the wrong name and the man realizes that he isn't the only one the boxer owes money to. Charlie pretends to have connection issues and hangs up. A few girls come up to the van and ask Charlie to show them the famous fighting robot Ambush. One of the girls takes out a camera to take a picture of the robot, but the man asks $5 for a picture. The kids decide that an old piece of metal is not worth it and leave. At the fair, Charlie meets his old friend Ricky, the manager of the arena. He promised to pay Charlie $3,000 if Ambush takes part in a fight against one of his bulls. However, the deal involved a bull weighing 800 pounds, and Ambush's opponent weighs twice as much as him. Charlie decides to go all in and offers Ricky a bet of $20,000 if he wins the fight. Ricky agrees to the bet but warns of the dire consequences for Charlie if he loses again and doesn't pay off the debt. The fight begins and Charlie pretentiously introduces Ambush to the public. At first, everything is going well and the robot easily dodges the opponent's blows. But Charlie gets too carried away interacting with the public and fails to notice the enraged bull rushing at the robot from behind. The animal crashes into Ambush and takes his leg with it. Charlie asks Ricky to stop the fight, but he happily watches his opponent lose. In the end, Ambush turns into a useless heap of metal that children take apart for souvenirs. Charlie doesn't have the money to pay for the loss, so he tries to slip past Ricky unnoticed. The boxer is followed by two men and hits one of them, thinking that they were going to demand money from him. However, the strangers inform Charlie about the tragic news: his ex-wife has died, leaving their 11-year-old son Max an orphan. Charlie is not very concerned about his son's fate, and he goes to court to sign the parental waiver of custodian rights. Some wealthier relatives of his deceased ex-wife are willing to adopt the boy, so Charlie sells them the right to custody for $100,000. For $50,000 deposit, he agrees to take Max for the summer to improve the father-son relationship. Using the proceeds, Charlie buys Noisy Boy, one of the best robots with voice control, on the black market. Charlie returns to the gym where he lives together with Bailey Towlett, the daughter of his deceased coach. The young woman scolds him for an expensive purchase, as he owes her money for rent. He attempts to seduce his girlfriend, but she reminds him that she needs the money to pay the bills. At this moment, the relatives bring Max in. The boy is upset not because his father sold him, but because he didn't share the proceeds. Charlie says that he wasted all the money on buying the robot and that Max can get out of here if he doesn't like something. The boy decides to stay and watch the Noisy Boy unboxing. The fighter in the samurai armor emerges from the box and everyone admires him. Charlie decides to test voice controls and says a few battle commands, however the robot doesn't react at all. The man decides that he was scammed and blames Bailey for not checking the robot. Max turns out to be smarter than the adults and pronounces the commands in Japanese, which is a native language of the robot. Noisy Boy obeys and Bailey then realizes that they only need to change his voice control settings. After a short test drive, Charlie loads his robot into his van and plans on going to the next competition. Max steals the car keys and asks his father to take him with unless he wants to be left without a car. Reluctantly, Charlie agrees and they arrive at an underground fight club where they meet dozens of other robots. Charlie is certain that this time he will win for sure, so he asks the organizer Finn to sign Noisy Boy up for the main fight. Max endeavors to dissuade his arrogant father from participating fully and instead advises him to engage only in warm-ups, highlighting the lack of battlefield testing for the robot. Despite Max's counsel, Charlie disregards his words and insists on pitting Noisy Boy against the renowned fighter Midas. Initially, Noisy Boy delivers powerful blows, eliciting excited cheers from the audience. Charlie revels in the apparent ease of victory. However, Midas swiftly gains control of the battle. exploiting Charlie's lack of attention. In a frantic attempt to regain control, Charlie randomly shouts commands, but Midas ultimately triumphs, decapitating Noisy Boy. Following the humiliating defeat, only the voice control of the robot remains functional. Max rightfully admonishes his father for recklessly challenging the champion without even mastering basic commands for Noisy Boy. Charlie, unwilling to accept responsibility, rebukes his son, threatening him with homelessness if he persists. On their way home, they scavenge parts from a junkyard for a new robot, during which Charlie recounts the rise of boxing robots and their displacement of human fighters. Max, engrossed in his father's story, fails to notice a cliff and narrowly escapes death by clinging to an old robot's hand. Charlie rescues Max and consoles him, but his selfish nature resurfaces as he refuses to help retrieve the salvaged robot. Undeterred, Max hauls the robot uphill alone, finally reaching their van at dawn. Back at the gym, Bailey is dismayed by the wreckage of Noisy Boy and implores Charlie to abandon his futile pursuit of victory. Despite her admonitions, Charlie convinces Bailey to inspect the salvaged robot brought by Max. To their surprise, the robot, named Adam, is revealed to be an obsolete sparring partner lacking offensive capabilities but adept at defense. With Bailey's encouragement, Max cleans and repairs Adam, recognizing its potential for illegal robot fights to earn money. Under the cover of night, Max sneaks into the gym to train with Adam, forging a bond with his newfound companion. The next day, Max seeks insight into his father's past from Bailey, learning of Charlie's resilience as a boxer and his struggle to adapt to the era of robot fighters. Meanwhile, Charlie seeks financial assistance from Finn, only to be rebuffed. In a fit of frustration, Charlie reluctantly allows Max to participate in a fight at the zoo, hoping to deter his son's aspirations. As Max diligently trains with Adam, Charlie awakens to his son's dedication, acknowledging Max's innate determination inherited from him. Together, they venture to the battleground, where Max negotiates a high-stakes deal for Adam's performance. The fight ensues, with Max skillfully maneuvering Adam to endure the opponent's attacks. Despite Charlie's guidance, Adam falls to a decisive blow, leaving their fate uncertain. The countdown to the end of the round begins, and the robot has only 30 seconds to get up. Max orders Adam to get up and he obeys, which means the boy automatically wins $1,000. The leader doesn't agree with this outcome and offers to double the winnings if the robot lasts one more round. Now it is Charlie who is trying to talk his son out of this risky adventure, but Max agrees. The second round begins, and Adam jumps and strikes the enemy with a crushing blow, causing the poor fellow's system to crash. Max wins and proudly takes his prize while the crowd cheers him. The next day, the boy continues training with the robot and tries to teach him new commands. When Max gets bored, he decides to dance with Adam and he easily copies all his movements. Charlie approaches them, and the boy tells his father that he installed Noisy Boy's voice control on Adam, so now they don't need a control panel. He asks his father to teach Adam his boxing style through the shadow feature. Charlie is initially reluctant and advises his son to make the dance Adam's unique feature in the ring. Max agrees to dance under one condition, only if his father teaches the robot how to box. Thus begins their hard teamwork. Charlie teaches the robot combat techniques from morning to night, and Max begins each of their fights with a dance. Adam gets victory after victory, and the father and son are getting closer and closer. After earning money from small-town fights, Charlie sends part of the winnings to Bailey to pay off his debt with interest. The dancing robot quickly wins the heart of the audience, and he is talked about even in the news. Thanks to the popularity of the robot, Charlie and Max are invited to participate in the Real Steel Champions League tournament. While Max is setting up Adam, Charlie mentally prepares him for the fight and says that all emotions should be left outside the big ring. A manager enters their workshop and invites them to the lodge of Farah Lemkova, the owner of Zeus. The businesswoman is looking for a sparring partner for Zeus and offers to buy Adam for $200,000. The offer is valid until the first round with his rival Twin Cities. Charlie immediately agrees, but Max refuses and leaves the room. Charlie tries to persuade his son to accept the tempting deal, but he asks his father to think about why Lemkova would want to buy a robot for such a large amount of money. Max believes that Adam is special and doesn't intend to sell his metal friend. To the deafening roar of the crowd, the two-headed robot Twin Cities enters the ring. Max leads Adam out by performing a battle dance. The robots start the fight and, within the first minutes of the match, the enemy mercilessly attacks Adam, preventing him from striking back. Charlie then notices Twin Cities' weak point. His right shoulder twitches before every punch. Adam dives under the opponent's arm and begins to deliver devastating blows to the body. After weakening Twin Cities' right side, Adam knocks him out with a kick to the head. The audience bursts into applause. Bailey, who has been watching the fight all this time, also screams with joy. Max runs into the ring and snatches the microphone from the referee. He publicly challenges Zeus, the robot of Farah Lemkova, to fight. After that, he and his father take the winnings and go to the van. Ricky meets them there and tells the thugs to attack them to take his money back. They beat up Charlie and take all their money. Worried about his son, Charlie takes him to his legal guardians to keep him safe. With tears in his eyes, the boy begs his father to let him stay with him, but Charlie doesn't want to risk it anymore. Max gets upset and leaves to pack, and Charlie refuses to take the other half of the money for the sale of custody. Charlie tries to persuade his son to leave with his relatives and says that he doesn't consider himself worthy of Max. As a farewell, Max tells Charlie that he wants his father to fight for him. All the way home, Charlie remembers the time he has spent with Max. He comes to Bailey and lies down next to her, which makes her very happy. In the morning, the woman convinces Charlie not to leave his son and assures him that it is not too late for them to improve their relationship and correct the mistakes of the past. They kiss and Charlie goes to Max. He tells his son that he regrets not being around all these years. Charlie asks to give him another chance and promises to fight for him this time. Then, he moves away and Max sees Adam. Charlie says that Zeus accepted his challenge and persuades his aunt to let Max go to the tournament. Champions League hosts revealed that Tak Mashido criticized yesterday's bout with the old robot Adam as an insult to his creation. This declaration sparked a PR nightmare for the Zeus team, prompting them to accept the challenge. Charlie and Max arrive at the tournament with Adam, while Finn takes bets that the junkyard robot won't last until the end of the round, with Ricky confidently betting $100,000 against Adam. A welcome show is put on for Zeus, who jumps into the ring to cheers, while Adam appears more modest. The fight begins, with Zeus knocking out Adam with the first blow, but Adam surprises everyone by persevering and delivering blows to Zeus. Despite serious damage, Adam manages to stay on his feet until the end of the first round. The fight continues, with Adam surviving the second and third rounds heroically. By the fourth round, Zeus inflicts serious damage on Adam, destroying his voice control system. Nevertheless, Adam holds out until the end of the round. In the final fifth round, Charlie delivers a series of crushing blows to Zeus, and despite Tak Mashido taking control of Zeus, Adam knocks Zeus down. However, Zeus gets to his feet, and the battle ends with Zeus announced as the winner based on points. Despite this, Adam is pronounced the people's champion, much to Max's delight. The boy falls into his father's arms, basking in their shared glory and recognition.